Hello and welcome to Wingin It. And once more we are back with some more tournament gameplay from the Orinoco Goose Outlast. And yeah, having lost our first two games, we have got it all to do in these remaining four. So as a reminder, it's not about winning, it's about getting that points difference. So of course, two losses not helping it, but they were pretty close losses. So hopefully we can get a nice win here and get ourselves back into the positive column. So yeah, we are going first in this game against Willy Pizza. So let's send it out. Let's have a look and see what we have got to work with. Okay, I do not mind that starting hand, and that is a pretty good choice of bird cards as well. So Carolina Wren feels pretty good with a Purple Martin in the tray as well. Definitely like that. And some good options as well. I mean, even this Blue Jay with the Omnivore bonus card for a couple more points could be a possibility. Could definitely be a possibility. And yeah, just get some food access going, and then use the Martin to see what I can find. So Common Loon as well does sort of appeal, but it is a bit of a risky one, relying on your opponent having fewer wetland birds than you. Doesn't always work out the way you want it. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking here Blue Jay and Wren feels like a good pairing to start with. Get the food production going, and lots of egg spaces. That Wren, if I do go with Martin in the grasslands, I can just lay eggs a few times and see where that takes us. So that definitely does appeal to me. It's just whether I go for this Loon instead of the Blue Jay, because in an ideal world, I'd keep all of these, but of course, if you keep 3 birds, you only get to keep 2 food. And yeah, suddenly that means playing the Wren, and then, I've got to gain food before I can potentially get something like that Blue Jay down. So does slow things down a bit. But yeah, this is tempting. This is tempting the Loon. This is not an obvious decision, I don't think. Hitting the bonus card and getting a bird for that first end around. Sometimes that can be quite tricky with this first end around goal. So yeah, just at least getting yourself qualified there. Sometimes you win that and you get those 4 points, but even just getting the 1 for yeah, getting something qualified. And of course, it is the wetland bird as well. So, ooh, all right. I've thought about it a little more, and I think I am actually going to leave this Blue Jay here. I think I'm going to go for the Loon in its place. This way, what I'm thinking is play the Wren with the Cherry, pick up the Martin and something else, play the Martin, and then I can start laying some eggs already, and see what we find. And if I do find some nice forest bird, I can always go for food and get that down. So we're going to lock that in, and yeah, I think this should be enough to get us started with. I quite like just going with something like a Martin in the grasslands, laying some eggs, doing a bit of card cycling. Doing that early on can be really valuable, and like I say, egg spaces on the Wren, we're going to be able to afford to do that for a few turns. So, and we'll do that. Of course, see what else this Wren is going to get us, but yeah, we've always got this Loon as well. We can kind of wait and see maybe if our opponent is going to go for the wetland birds, and kind of sneak this in when they're least suspecting it. Alright, here we go. What has our opponent kept? The most standard start in Wingspan. Couple of birds and those 3 food there. So let's get this Wren down, and we'll see first of all what we get off the top of the deck. Nice Wren, okay, more egg spaces, but maybe not what we're after. But certainly this Martin and oh hello in the tray. We'll see if we can get our hands on that. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a good start, I think. This is going to be a good start for us. So let's see, will our opponent take that with all the food they've got? Exactly the food they need for it. Or are we going to get a look in there? I think if it's there, I'm taking it. Because it does hit this end around. And there is food. There is food looking at me in the bird feeder. To be able to go and grab the seed and the cherry, and then go and play it. would be a good way of getting this Martin down as well. All right, they have left it. They've gone for food now. Cherry and double seed. That normally spells danger, so maybe common loon is not going to be the way, but and we are going to go and grab the bunting because I just can't help myself. I can't resist. We're gonna look to get this down and like I say, hopefully get the Martin food pretty quickly. This is a good start to the grasslands here. I mean, you look at these end of round goals as well, particularly end of round goals 2 and 3. You wanna go grasslands. You wanna get some eggs down. So this will help. Yeah, getting food and card cycle all in the same action. It's nice. So is it a wood duck? It's not. It's been a wood duck bait because it's Clark's nutcracker. So we can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief there. We could definitely breathe a sigh of relief and go straight up for food ourselves. And yeah, now we've got bunting. Food, we can get that down. And do you know what? We might go common loon first because I talked about this end of round goal in the starting hand decision, but yeah, getting 2 down could be nicer in our opponent. They've only got 1 other bird in their hands, so we'll see. Maybe they'll spend a couple of turns getting food. Maybe this is going to help for that end of round, but yeah, if we can get 2 birds down, like I say, if our opponent does play a wetland bird, it's kind of an odd position when you have common loon, because you kind of don't want your opponent to play wetland birds, because if they're not playing wetland birds, it means they're struggling and they're kind of not getting that card draw. But at the same time, you want them to play some so that you can get some benefit from this. So it's a bit of a hedge, this kind of bird, and yeah, hopefully you put yourself in a good position regardless of what your opponent's doing, and yeah, get yourself some extra cards. I think certainly when you've got something like Purple Martin in the back pocket, you want as many extra cards as you can get. When you're drawing cards, if you can get 2 or 3 cards in a single turn, then yeah, that's gonna save you turns, not having to spend as many turns drawing cards or turns laying eggs. So they went for cards, and I think they just top decked because I'm pretty sure that was the same trade as before. So that is interesting. That is interesting. So I wonder if they're not too bothered about getting the food to play this bird. Is it a killdeer or a Franklin skull or a raven? Because I don't think you would keep something and then not try and play it straight away. But that's a good bird feeder. We like to see that. We like to see lots of worms when we're going bunting. So excellent. Let's lay eggs and let's grab one of those. And this is the strength of the bunting. This is why I like it so much. In this early game, particularly with this kind of forest where I've only got a wren, I'm only gaining 1 food at a time in that forest. Maybe 2 if I want to get rid of a card, but at the moment, don't have loads of cards. And if I'm laying eggs, look at my opponent. They're laying eggs, they're only getting 2. But I can do both those things, lay 2 eggs and get a food at the same time, and it's exactly the food I want, whether I'm playing this Purple Martin, whether I'm playing this Common Loon. So yeah, this is good. This is good for sure. So Violet Green Swallow in the wetlands. Okay, so there's their wetland birds, but it's not worth more points. So I think I'm imagining they're going to lay eggs and draw cards in the next 2 turns. So I'm going to play the Martin because it will get me an extra egg, and that worm is still going to be there. So we're going to have to skip a Martin tuck, unfortunately. But this is going to be okay. Because we can lay eggs, we can grab that worm. Like I say, trying to anticipate here what my opponent's doing to help guide my own decision making. So I'm pretty sure, if I'm in their position, I've got no cards, I'm going to start drawing cards, right? Before I'm getting food, I'm going to start trying to pick some of that stuff up. Maybe even that Swainson's Hawk, if I'm looking at the end of round goal, could be a good option to get the grasslands going. But yeah, I think that worm should still be there. So we'll be able to lay eggs. And we'll be able to get this common loon down. So hopefully this end around, we should at least be getting a tie. There we go. Actually, do you know what? Canvas back's come up. That would be a much better option, I think, than this common loon. But We're sort of committed here with the fish. So we're going to, skip the tuck. And pick up the worm. And do you know what? I think they did. They did indeed pick up that Swainson's hawk. So yeah. With the rodent in their supply, I think they'll be going for food here. Trying to get that down. Go for a tie. Well, they don't know. So it is only going to be a tie and not a win. Because we complete this common loot. And get ourselves some extra cards. So this is good. I'm happy with how this first round has gone. A little bit, change of plans, I think, sometimes can happen. Sometimes it's good to pick a plan and stick with it, but you know me, if Indigo Bunting pops up in the tray in round 1 and I don't have a good food source already secured, I'm probably going to go grab it. So let's play our common loon. Yeah, it looks like they did get the worm they're looking for, so I imagine they'll play the Swainson's hawk, and then they'll probably start laying eggs. They'll start drawing some cards. They'll see what they can find. That feels like probably how they're going to approach it. But hey, if they do that, I'm fine with that, because that feeder with a cherry and a worm is looking good. So let's move on to the next round. Ooh, and we've got a house finch in the tray. But equally as exciting, I would say probably, that honey buzzard looks pretty good for me. Another omnivore bird. And just a way of getting a bit more food, because, bunting, I love bunting, but you can't rely on just the worms or the cherries that you're getting from that. You do need a bit of extra food coming in from somewhere. So no, honey buzzard, it's more worms, but it's hopefully more food. So yeah, food is food. You find a way to use it. So definitely wouldn't mind it, but it's gone. But you know what? The house finch is still there. So that's interesting. That's very interesting that they left the house finch. But I will definitely be taking that. So sorry, we're not going to get the honey buzzard worms, but we're going to get house finch. So I think we will give a card here. This is one of those positions where we've both got kind of equivalent card access. But yeah, if I can save myself turns from having to use that wetlands and more turns in the grasslands, then that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, happy with this double card cycle plus the food from the bunting. And if we can get this down, I think we might have enough time to get this down this round. Lots and lots of egg spaces. Exactly what we want to go for. Eggs in the bolt nest. So yeah, happy with that. And for my opponent, probably they might want to take that worm, but they're going to have to start playing some birds. Then they're going to have to start laying some eggs as well if they want to play some birds. So we'll see. We'll see how they approach that. There we go. They are indeed laying eggs. And yeah, we're gonna follow suit. We're gonna lay eggs ourselves and start cycling. So I think, I don't know. This bluebird does appeal to me because it eats exactly the food that bunting gives. I think probably quail can go. I don't think we're necessarily going to have what we're after. Yeah, we're not going to have the food. We're not going to need too many extra eggs there. But Cass's finch, that could be a better option. So we'll see. We'll see where that takes us. But for now, I'm quite content to just lay eggs for a bit. I've got the space. As long as there's food that the bunting can get in the feeder, I'll just lay eggs. I get 4 points a time. I get a card cycle. Feels pretty solid to just kind of go and do that. So yeah, happy with that. And if we can find another wetland bird, that's okay. If we can't, that's also okay. Because this common loon is still going to get us some extra cards. And we're going to have loads of eggs. I don't mind chucking eggs for extra cards in this position when you've got good egg access already. So yeah, it should be okay. And yeah, if we lay eggs twice, as long as we get food each time, we can force this house finch down, and I think that's worthwhile doing. Just to, again, accelerate this grasslands development. I mean, this is what you want to be doing in round 2. In this sort of position where you've got a good foundation to work with, you made a good start to your engine. Round 2 is about really pushing on and sort of developing that, and yeah, finding the birds that you can to build upon that. So House Finch definitely struck gold there to be able to get that down. So yeah, that would be very nice indeed. So it looks like my opponent, looks like they're going for cards themselves. They are indeed going for cards. So do we do the same? Because I'm kind of thinking this bluebird would be super useful, the egg space, but I do want to keep this finch as well. I'm going to get rid of the bluebirds. The bluebird might be a bit of a pipe dream at this point. So mallard's not a bad one. Not a bad one. If my opponent is going to play more wetland birds, could come in handy. But again, loon on its own. Even if my opponent plays a second one, you know, suddenly I'm the only one benefiting from that. I might be fine just leaving this common loon on its own, and yeah, just relying on that as my card access. Because with the double card cycle, doesn't matter what cards you draw, you just need some. And that's going to get you going. So Yellow Rump Warbler goes down. That's some bowl nest space for them. Pretty nice going. Let's lay eggs. Let's lay eggs again. And come on the reroll, we are going to get rid of Mallard. And on the reroll, we are going to get some food, which is good. What we like to see. So yeah, let us. We'll take this one. And yeah, I think we'll force the finch down. And then we'll lay eggs. We'll just keep laying eggs. I think this brown pelican could definitely get cycled. But yeah, we're looking for cheap birds. Something to go in the forest. So maybe this finch will be the option, but yeah, something more affordable, I think, in the short term. But otherwise, we're looking good. And hopefully, I mean, I know eventually I'm going to have to draw food, because this feeder, it's not going to stay amazing forever. Bunting, you do get 2 choices of food, but you know, not always going to work out that way. So yeah, eventually I'm going to have to go for food. So hopefully my plan is develop the forest a bit more, at least get a couple more birds down, so that I'm benefiting more than just the 1 or 2 food when I'm doing that. So let's get the finch down. Let's get the finch down, and we're looking good. Strong start, strong position in this game. And yeah, our opponent, interesting, laying eggs, but not on the bowl nest. So I wonder if they have something else they're going to play and then lay eggs again. But yeah, they're going to need to lay eggs at least once more, because you can't really afford to miss these end around goals. Even just qualifying here, it's 2 points, so you don't want to miss out on that. You want to take every point you can get. And for us, that's going to be 5. So happy with that. Happy with that indeed. I do wish I could have got my hands on that honey buzzard, but so be it. Now, there we go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes the feeder is going to get stuck there, and you're not going to be very happy with it. But I'm going to pass the time by drawing some cards. So let's see what we find. Okay. Not great, but not terrible. Nuthatch is actually not bad. If I do want a cheap forest bird, that at least means that, you know, when I'm going for food, get a couple of food, get a point as well. Gives you that option. Eurasian Jay, you can definitely go. I'm not super interested in you, but yeah, I'm very swift as well. This is one of those positions where I'm not going to have enough cards to be able to feed something like that. So not the time nor the place for you. But I'm assuming my opponent's going to lay eggs here. No, they play the honey buzzard. So they just completely missed that end of round goal. Definitely an interesting one. Okay, so honey buzzard is going to reset the feeder and take all of the worms, which is going to annoy my bunting situation. But hopefully we can at least get some cherries. So I don't want to lay eggs here, because I've already won the end around. And there's no bunting food. I kind of don't want to go for food, but it might pay off to go for food here, and I'm kind of wondering even if I just get the food for this pelican as an option, ready for my opponent to play that second wetland bird. But I could just draw cards again. Like I say, cards are going to be useful here. Just with that double card cycle. So I kind of would rather go for food after the honey buzzard has ruined the feeder, to at least give myself the chance of putting the bunting in a good position. So I might just lay eggs. After saying I wasn't going to lay eggs, I think I'm just going to lay eggs because it's still 5 points. It's double card cycle, and you never know. Maybe we'll find something decent. Omnivore expert. Not super keen. Not super keen. Man, we're getting all of the tuck for food birds in the forest. So again, like the swift, not super interested in you. But what's it going to be? This honey buzzard. We want it to roll no worms, but loads of cherries. Well, okay, I'll take that. It's 3 worms, which obviously isn't great, but it's a cherry, and it's a re-rollable bird feeder. That's a word now. Re-rollable. But here we go into the next round. Interesting tray. We are going to take this hooded warbler. And I'm kind of tempted to take this black-headed gull as well. At the very least, stops my opponent having it. That would be annoying to play against. But again, it's an option for me, potentially. With the Omnivore as a second wetland bird. And does have some ground nest space. My opponent has none of. I've already got 1 of, so this common loon could be coming in clutch here, helping the end around with just 1. But yeah, we'll kind of have to wait and see on that. But yeah, that was a good tray. Hooded warbler. This is exactly the kind of bird I'm looking for with indigo bunting. Obviously, getting loads of worms, a couple of worms, 7 points, get that down. And your forest is normally pretty empty when you're running grasslands like this. You don't need to play loads of these brown powers like a nuthatch to get some extra food or points going. So you've always got space. Food point birds like this now. White-throated swift goes down, so that's very interesting. Kind of makes me a bit nervous of giving cards up with the loom, but also kind of makes me think they must feel pretty confident about getting good card access. So maybe another grassland or another wetland bird is going to be on the way. Now, how do we play this? I am sort of tempted to go for food here. Because potentially getting the seed while it's there. I know I'm going to need a seed at some point if I want to play this Cassis Finch, which I almost certainly do want to play this Cassis Finch. So, yeah, we'll go for food, and hopefully, when we re-roll, okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because I can leave it in a re-rollable state once all those worms are gone. So that's good. We'll play this Cassis Finch. That's going to leave us with 6 egg spaces, which means we then lay eggs twice, and play the Hooded Warbler. I think that's going to be the play. That feels like a good kind of avenue to go down. And maybe we play this Gull. I mean, I'm going to have to play this by ear a bit. I'll see what my opponent's plan is for this end around. If they do have something, they are laying eggs now. Pretty good looking grasslands here. Skipping the Swift though, so maybe they're not super confident about their card access, or maybe they're just really happy about these 2 cards in hand. But we've got some cards in hand, so I don't think we're going to use the Loon quite yet. But let's get this I'm going to call it a common Finch. Cassis Finch, we'll get that down. See what the bonus card is. Bird counter, excellent. Do I take that or Ecologist? I think I take Bird counter, to be honest. There's no certainty of me playing another bird in the wetlands, and who knows, maybe I find something else to go in this grasslands. Maybe I find like a barn swallow or something if I get lucky. So I will take the certain 4 points, because like I say, Ecologist, even if I play another wetland bird, that's still only 4. I'd have to play another wetland bird on top of that. and then also play this Hooded Warbler. So I'm happy with that. Whenever you pick up a bonus card, kind of mid to late game, and get 4 points from it, you always take that. No complaints from me there. So we're looking good. Points are strong, 56 already. Happy with that. We've got some good options. Like I say, Hooded Warbler, definitely chief among those. So Plead Woodpecker goes down. Egg space suddenly becomes a problem for us. But that's fine. Okay, still no ground nest. Still no ground nest. This is very interesting. I want to see if they're going to go and pick up this black neck still, and I'm kind of tempted to take it myself just to stop them from having it. So we'll get rid of the pelican. And still, to be honest, even for me, it's not a bad play. If it does save me from having to draw cards again, then I'm okay with that. So we will take it. It's a deny, but it's also potentially, you know, I'm entertaining the thought of playing it myself, and that could definitely help. So Bee Eater, might have liked that as well. Maybe I still will like it. But yeah, we've got options here. We've got options in how we play this. Some of it's going to be reactionary, but because I'm going first in this round, there's only so much you can do to try and react to what your opponent's doing. You know, they can easily catch me out here and play something and lay eggs on it without really, allowing me to be ready for that. So no worms on that reroll. That's a bit annoying. That is a bit annoying, but they've left it so we can reroll anyway. So that might work out just fine anyway. Or they've got a lot of food there. The question is, do we think they're going to play something that has a ground nest with at least 3 spaces? Because if they are, it wouldn't be worth playing that anyway. So I could play the gull and then lay eggs on it, and I'd get up to 3. But if they're going to play something like, I don't know, like that canvasback that was there earlier, for example, if they play that and then lay eggs, well, actually, I suppose because they've only got 1 card. This is the thing. It would have to be a grassland bird, and then they would have to chuck an egg, or chuck a food to get the extra egg, because they are not going to be able to tuck on this swift if they play something. I think they might have skipped the yellow runt warbler as well that turn, so I'm imagining they have got something they want to play. I think this gull is worth playing. It's 4 points because it's 3 minus 1 egg plus 2 omni. And it just gives me that bit of insurance, I think, on this end around. I'm not super confident about being able to win, so I think we'll play it. Hopefully it doesn't ruin my common loon situation. But to be honest, yeah, I might be skipping that because I don't want to give them cards to tuck onto Swift. So let's play this, and hopefully not regret that. But yeah, we can lay eggs next turn. Yeah, have to work out what's the end game here. What is the end game? I think I'm gonna have to draw cards once, but I probably want to be playing birds and laying eggs as much as I can, and just get as many points as I can there. Okay. Oh, Franklin's gull. Okay, do you know what? That black-headed gull was the right decision then. Man, I was totally not mentally prepared for that. Okay, so yeah, if I hadn't played that, they would have won the end of round. So that's a 6-point swing, winning that end of round instead of losing. So I'm very happy with that. Does ruin my common loon though, which is a bit sad. But never mind. Stilt, I think it's time for you to go by. And yeah, we're gonna go top deck. Oh boy, Woodstalk. how I would love to be able to play you. Oh, is that too ambitious? It's 1 extra point and a bonus card over the Warbler, but it does cost a lot more food. I'm going to steal a food because I'm going to draw cards once. So the girl will give me 1 food. So I could force the Woodstock down with 5 food. I think we need to go for it. I think we need to go for this Woodstock. Go for another bonus card gamble. We'll take a cherry because we're going to do some forcing. Doesn't much matter what food we get. But yeah, I think we're going to have to draw cards the next turn. And we might even have to go for food anyway, to be honest. Because egg space is definitely a problem that we are going to run into. So, especially if this woodpecker keeps going. But that's a really interesting Franklin's goal. I wonder how long they had hold of that, because, like I say, I think they were skipping Swift tucks, they were skipping Warbler tucks, so I think they might have had that in their hand for a little while, but really just kind of waited on that and, yeah, didn't play it. Didn't play it straight away, and given their card access and, you know, with the Swift, with the Warbler, where you don't want to be skipping those tucks, I feel like you want to get something like this Franklin's goal down as soon as possible. But, you know, they might have had their reasons for not doing so. But certainly, yeah, they'll be good for cards now. Like I say, it's a good Grasslands. I mean, what is that? If the Hawk hits, it's 2 eggs, tuck and an egg, and another tuck. So, you know, it's 5 points. 6 if you're skipping that goal. So, pretty good way to conclude the game now. King Rail, I probably would have rather had that than the Woodstock, more egg space, but so be it. There we go, another end around win. We're happy with that. And there's the Barn Swallow that we talked about, so probably late for us, but yeah, another couple of worms for my opponent. They'll be quite happy with that off the Honey Buzzard. But yeah, how do we play this? How do we play this? The age-old question. Like I say, probably have to go for food once. I would like to be able to get a fish and a rodent, if possible. So we'll see. Maybe they go for food here. I think they might just keep laying eggs, though, because birds in hand you want for this end around. They've probably got loads of food thanks to the Honey Buzzard. And yeah, but you want to lay eggs, you want to draw cards with the gull, and you want to hope that you find some nice big point birds to play. They are gambling a little bit here on this late game, on this, you know, final round, because so many times you come into that final round desperate for looking for birds, but can't always find stuff you're looking for. But yeah, we've at least got this Woodstock. So, what am I looking for if I play that bonus card? Probably Viticulturalist, if I'm honest. Only 8 birds down with the Woodstock. Hopefully we can get a 9th. Does kind of hurt your chances a little bit, which is why I was happy to have got that bird counter bird. I think they just picked up the cowbird, so they might be playing that. But we're going to lay eggs now. I know we missed out on an egg, but get our card cycle. Ooh, woodcock. Ooh, that's a very interesting. It's a very interesting one. Do I skip the tuck here? Because they have got a seed. If I went for food and got fish rodent, I could play the Woodstock. But then I think even if I then drew cards, yeah, so the drawing cards would get me the seed. Think about this. 4 turns left. I'd have to play the stalk, draw cards. 2 turns left. I wouldn't be able to lay eggs and play the woodcock. I think I would be 1 food short there. I definitely wouldn't play this. So we are going to skip playing the woodcock. Nightingale. But yeah. Interesting endgame here. Lots of problems because egg space is a problem. But yeah, I'm hoping we can get food, play the Woodstalk. I think we just get food, play the Woodstalk, and then maybe we even just lay eggs. But we are going to want to draw cards. There goes the cowbird. I think we are going to need to draw cards just to qualify for the end of round. So, this is tricky. This is tricky. Do I just go for food now? Go for, I think food stalk cards, eggs. Kind of feels like it's a bit not super happy with that as an end game. We are going to end that way on 4 cards in hand. My opponent lays eggs 3 times. They kind of get to that by default, and they could obviously skip the Swift, but that is going to cost them a couple of points. So I think we do that. Hopefully, fish. No fish, which is sad, but we can force anyway. Don't think that's the end of the world. So there we go. And yeah, play the Stalk. Hope for Viticulturalist. I do have a good track record in these videos of asking for a bonus card and having it show up. So I always say this. Sometimes you just gotta ask. Sometimes you just gotta ask nicely. So I'll ask nicely for Viticulturalist. I would also take a Wetland Scientist. That is a good fallback. But yeah, good bonus card here. Really, this has been kind of front-loaded, I think. The quick setup of this engine and some strong engine running in round 2 and 3. I think that built up a bit of a lead, and it is definitely falling a bit flat here in this late game. Not getting the food, not getting the egg space. That's been a big problem. And yeah, my opponent, they definitely do have a strong engine here. But the goal went down late. This cowbird, I'm not planning on laying eggs again this game. Like I said, or maybe once actually. If my plan is stalk, cards, eggs. So that's only actually going to be good for 1 egg for them. And yeah, they are using that Swift. So let's play this Stalk and pray to the Wingspan gods. Please give us Viticulturalist. Ouch. It doesn't always work. It doesn't always work. So that's a shame. We'll take large bird because who knows? Maybe we'll somehow find a large bird that eats a worm, and I can steal that worm and then play it. I wouldn't feel too confident of that. So we'll take large bird. But yeah, that's the risky run when you've only got 8 birds down like this. Playing a bonus card bird late in the game doesn't always work out, but we did still get 2 points from Omnivore, so yeah, 10 points from 3 bonus cards, it's okay. It's maybe slightly below average, but again, with 8 birds down, could have been a lot worse. But yeah, what's my opponent's game plan here? Are they just going to lay eggs twice more? I think maybe they are. And we'll see. We'll see if they want to play something, but playing something costs a card, and laying eggs gains them a card, so it's technically costing them 2 cards. And with this last end of round goal being the headache that it is, that could be tricky. So let's think about this. So plan A was draw cards, cost an egg. We then lay eggs for 5, but it might be 4. I think my opponent might skip this Swift because if they're going to anticipate, so they need the card for the end of round, and using the Swift, they wouldn't be able to benefit from the cowbirds. I think that's reason enough for me to be skipping that. So they would end on 5 cards. Which would mean that drawing cards on that last round, on that last turn even, would be worth more for me, because I could draw cards and win the end of round. Because yeah, draw cards now, I get to 4 cards. So even if they skipped and ended on 5, I just draw. I end on 6. I get that 6-point swing in my favour, which is more than laying eggs. So is it better to not chuck the egg and just draw? And if I need to chuck the egg, I can do it next turn, because I might be able to get away if they lay eggs and use the swift, and they only end up on 4. The annoying thing is I would have been able to tie the end of round if I chuck the egg and then just lay eggs, and that's worth a couple more points. But then still drawing cards would be worth 3. I think it's worth chucking the egg here. We'll draw twice. We'll see what we find. I think it is worth chucking the egg here. And yeah, we'll see. Okay, all of these lovely birds. I mean, like any one of these 4, I would have taken these early in the game. So sometimes that's how Wingspan goes. You find all these birds late. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is one of those where so much of what I do. No, we're going to skip you. Let's not make that mistake. So much of what I do is dependent on my opponent, because they might play a bird, in which case I just lay eggs. They might not skip the swift, in which case I think laying eggs is still better. Because actually I can now chuck that worm to get the egg back anyway that I just cost myself by drawing cards. They might not skip the swift, in which case suddenly drawing cards becomes the better play. So lots of interesting decisions, and that it does kind of happen when you have this end around goal. Either that or food and supply, birds with no eggs can be a bit of a headachy one as well at this stage of the game. So yeah, like I say, it's so much about just trying to see what my opponent's doing and react to it. But it looks like they are laying eggs because they're now filling up. So how many cards are they going to end on? Drumroll, please. They have ended on 5, so there we go. They skipped the swift. Now, if we lay eggs, we get 4 eggs and 2 tucks, but we give them an egg because they do have space on the warbler. So it's only net 5 points to us, and it costs us a food, which tiebreaker could be important. Or we draw cards, because if we draw cards, we gain 2 cards, and like I say, that puts us up to 6, and we steal a food. So I think, based purely on the numbers, drawing cards for this last turn and not laying eggs, that is the play to go for. So that is what we're going to do, and we're probably going to find Benelli's Eagle or something like that. Luckily not. Luckily not. And yeah, we'll just steal. We'll take another worm. Do you know what? We've not had enough worms this game. So we'll take another one. There we go. Winning the end of round. Slightly unconventional final round. This looks like a Yellowhammer game with all those cubes spread out. But it's been anything but that. There we go. And we are going to skip that because that would be a nightmare to accidentally trigger that. And undo all of my hard work. There we go. I think it's the honey buzzard worms. Yeah, not gonna make the difference here for a tiebreaker, but there you go, 3. The honey buzzard, they'll go 3, 2, and 3. So obviously last round not super important, but still being successful for them. We've done well in those end rounds, and that could be crucial here as we go into the final score. So yeah, just knee-jerk reaction. I do feel good about this game. And yeah, bonus points. We are in the lead. End of round goals, of course, 20 points, very strong. Eggs, I think it's going to be pretty close there. We do extend our lead slightly and into the tuck cards as well. We do hold on there, and that is the kind of win that we're looking for in this tournament. 94 to 78. So 18-point win. I think that might be good enough to get us back up into positive. But if not, it's going to get us pretty damn close. So let's have a look at their bonus card. Forrester, ooh, 1 away. 1 away. And they had the killdeer as well. They found their way into that. So Yeah, interesting game there. Interesting game. Lots of mental calculations. But I think this is one of those situations where always calculate that final round. Count. You know, the most obvious turn there would have been to lay eggs, but actually, more points, drawing cards, as weird as it is, and winning that end round. So there we go. That was fun. Always good to get Indigo Bunting, and glad to have got a good Grasslands alongside it. And of course, glad to get the win, helping the points difference. And yeah, we're halfway through, so 3 more games to go. If you want to see those, please do hit that subscribe button. Please do stick around and stay tuned, and I will see you again in another video very, very soon.